Alrighty then. Hello, everybody. It looks like we already have three people in here. That's good to see. Um, let's- let me take a look at these chats real quick. I see it now. Yeah, you were asking about the waiting thing, Chris, and good that you saw it. And Toys, hey Toys, glad to see you, my friend. And apparently you left. Get divorced in Alabama. Are you still considered brother and sister? Hmm. Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but excuse me a moment. I apparently somebody's at our door, so I got to look outside. So I'll be right back. But I will put some music on. Let's see now. Sorry about that. Let's see. Bada 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 dum dum da 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 da. Yeah, sorry about that. I had some people at the door there. Apparently they were looking for my sister, but she's busy at the moment. So thank you for the like and the share, by the way. So All right. So, I guess I was gonna get started, but thanks to that little interruption, looks like you guys left me already. Anyways, all right. Well, let me just do something real quick here, and then I'll be right back. Anyways, I kind of went in reverse order there, but that's okay. Thank you guys for the likes and the shares, at least. Remember that we're all back. So, anyways, now that we do have some people in here, and I know, fortunately, got interrupted there by some people at the door, so I had to take care of that. But we're past the 8 minute mark anyway, so good time to go over what's on top for tonight. So, two main stories that we're going to look at are from Downing in the Comics, a couple of anime stories, one regarding one regarding the Trigun Stampede trailer, and then we are going to go ahead and look at some stuff going on with King Kong. Also, I'll probably be doing some random stories from CDR, looking over anime, comics, manga. Then we got the pro wrestling wrap up towards the end, as well as this game history. So, without any further ado, why don't we go ahead and get started then? Alrighty then. So yeah, we're up to 4 people now. Goody, yay! Alright, so here we go with the first story we're gonna look at here. And alrighty then. So for all you Trigun fans out there, latest Trigun Stampede trailer. Disney's new and familiar faces features a noticeable lack of Millie. Hmm. Article by Nerdigan, published October 25th, which was yesterday. So let's see what's going on here. Millie was a sweet character. I remember her from the original Trigun series. She's a very sweet character. Maybe a little on the you know a little on the a little on the slow side maybe, but still a sweet character nonetheless. In recent weeks, fans worldwide have been stampeding over to Toho Animation's official YouTube channel to catch the latest trailer for Studio Orange's upcoming reboot of Trigun, and in doing so have met a slew of new and returning Wasteland faces. And it looks like the artwork for this is a little bit different too, because the design for Vash here is different. Um, so that's kind of interesting. Maybe this is obviously a newer thing. On October 14th, which is about a week and a half ago, I'd say, um, Toho Animation and Studio Orange premiered the second official trailer for Trigun Stampede. Therein, revealing complete series makeovers for fan favorites Meryl Streep and Nicholas D. Wolfwood. The first of Vash's allies to make their reboot debut in the new trailer, Meryl, who is in Japan is voiced by Sakura Ando, who was Legorn or Legam and Flamingo in Beastars, has undergone a career change in the 14 years since Madhouse first aired their original. Um, yeah, Meryl, if I remember correctly, I think Meryl was voiced by, I don't remember that much in English, anyways. I don't remember if it was Michelle Ruff or Dorothy Elias Kane. One of those two. Actually, I think it was Dorothy Elias Kane, not as Dorothy Menendez. But anyways, originally an agent for the Bernardelli Insurance Society, who would travel the world in an attempt to stop the humanoid typhoon from racking up ever more claims for the company to pay out. Merrill is now a reporter for the similarly named Bernardelli News 8. So I guess Bernardelli is a town or something like that. Who is on hunting Vash in order to snag the biggest scoop of her career. Guess that's her new look right there. Wow, seems like a simpler design. Anyways, I want to just check something here real quick. Just check. Let's check something real quick here. I do know Johnny Young Bosch was the original English voice for Vash Stampede in the original series. That much I do know. Yeah. So okay. So yeah, it was Dorothy. So Meryl was Dorothy under the name Dorothy Melendez, of course, and then Jeff Nimoy was the first English voice of Nicholas Wolfwood, and Millie was voiced by Leah Sargent. Okay. Alrighty then. So actually, it was not Michelle Ruff. I don't know why I was even thinking Michelle Ruff, but anyways. Oh boy, why are we having that problem now? Anyways, um, getting back to the article here. Next up was new franchise edition Roberto De Niro, um, who is voiced in who's the Japanese, was voiced by Kenji Matsuda, who is Zebra in Toriko. Not to be confused with A-list actor Robert De Niro. Yeah, I figured as much. Uh, a drunk, chain-smoking Bernadelli news agency reporter who travels alongside Meryl as her partner and mentor. In a major disappointment to longtime fans of the series, it seems that De Niro will be replacing the role originally occupied in both the manga and the first Trigun anime by fan favorite airhead Millie Thompson, who, as I just mentioned, was voiced by Leah Sargent, who also, of course, who in English was voiced by Leah Sargent, as I said, who also voiced Dorothy Wainwright in Big O. Though unfortunate, whether or not her absence in this trailer is an indication of her complete lack of an appearance in Dragon Stampede remains to be seen. So there's their look from back the original anime right there. There's Millie on the left there and Meryl on the right. The trailer then transitions to finally introduce fan favorite priest and Vash's best friend, Nicholas D. Wolfwood, who, as I mentioned before, was voiced in the English version of the original series by Jeff Nimoy. Here, the character voice is provided in Japanese by Yoshimasa Hosoya, who provided the voice of Shotaro Hidari in Futo Tante, who is seen walking in the desert with the sand blowing around him. His signature cross gun, the Punisher, strapped onto his back. So this guy carries around what looks like a big cross, like as in the crucifixion cross of Jesus, but it's actually a huge gun. You see it right there. See, I'm walking with it right there. Noticeably, upon seeing a cleanup of the priest's face, it can be seen that Wolfwood's signature cigarette has been replaced with a lollipop. The most glaring and offensive change of the Trigun reboot so far, so much so that some fans have considered it equivalent to the for kids notorious censorship of One Piece's Sanji. It's currently unclear as to why this change to one of the most iconic and manga attributes was made. That is kind of an interesting question because Trigun, Trigun isn't necessarily even as an animated series, isn't as an anime isn't really geared towards kids. It's geared more towards teenagers and up. So censoring the cigarette there did not really make much sense. Because usually the demographic that would be watching this would be maybe the 15 to 25 year old, well, maybe 17 to 16 to 25 years or what have you. You know, they're not gonna be so easily moved to start smoking just because a character in an animated show um doing it. So, As the sun proceeds to cut through the trailer's shadows, a signature cut of a purple hair can be seen, um, heralding the unexpected reveal of the right-hand man to Trigun's main antagonist, Knives Million, Legado Blue Summers. And there he is right there, I guess. In the trailer's final reveal, a fully revived Knives Million awakens from his healing capsule as what appear to be feathers flow around him. Turning to face his estranged twin, Knives then asks a shocked Vash, quote, "Which side are you on?" unquote. There he is right there. Alongside this trailer, Toho Animation also released a new teaser visual featuring Vash riding a Thomas bird, while Wolfwood, Meryl, and Roberto hold on for dear life. The words, quote, "Ready, steady, roll," unquote, emblazoned above them. There's that picture right there. So instead of having two guys and two girls, you got three guys and one girl. Trigun Stampede is currently on track to release in January 2023 on Crunchyroll. There we go. There we go with that one. As we shall continue on here. Get ready to go on to the next story here. Let me see. All right. So, anyways, so here's the next article we're going to look at here. So, in smaller quotes, Chainsaw Man fans send death threats to anime YouTuber TV reviews over Denji Makina skipping joke. Now, for those of you who don't know what skipping means, it basically means when fans speculate as to who's gonna end up in a relationship, who's gonna end up in a romantic relationship. Uh, this is kind of getting upset over somebody making a joke about certain shit. That's a little over the top. But article by Nerdigan published yesterday, the 25th. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. It only took Genji 2 episodes to cut into the hearts of mainstream anime fans with the Studio Mappa's adaptation of Chainsaw Man. And to one's surprise, this popularity has already spawned a controversy surrounding the divisive seductress Makima. Ever since the anime adaptation of Tatsuki Fujimoto's best-selling manga began broadcasting a vocal minority of Chainsaw Man, fans have been attacking anyone they believe supports what they deem as the problematic ship of Denji and Makima. Oh boy. I wonder why they believe it's problematic. Due to Makima's use of her sexuality and Denji's, in smaller quotes, desires to take advantage of his powers, these quote unquote stands um, believe they are obligated to rescue the burgeoning hero from his, in smaller quotes, groomer and her supporters by any means necessary. Oh God, this is insane. You're getting upset at what you think is a potential groomer. Oh my God, of an animated show. Oh my goodness. I mean, is Denji even? First off, is Denji even Denji? First off, even a minor to begin with, and two, I mean, I think if he's dead or whatever, then does that really? I mean, on October 18th, which is a week ago yesterday, um, such fans put their unhealthy, obsessed mindset on full display when they seemingly teamed up to launch a cyberbullying campaign against popular anime and manga YouTuber Chibi Reviews over a tweet wherein he made a joke about the ship. Really? SJWs, they all deserve to be locked up in an asylum somewhere, don't they? Quote, that's it, folks. Wrap it up, unquote, declared Chibi Review, sharing a screenshot from the latest episode of Chainsaw Man Arrival in Tokyo, in which Makima can be seen declaring, quote, I'm into the devil type, or I'm into the Denji type, unquote. Knowing what eventually happens between the two, thanks to having read the manga, he exclaimed, quote, Denji Makima has sailed, quote unquote, jokingly celebrating the doomed ship. Well, I mean, the manga already had. Why these people would get that? First off, it's already been established that they may have been become involved in some kind of relationship like that. You know, so it's not like they can. It's not like they're going to save him. People are absolutely nuts to get this worked up over this. Proving that sarcasm is dead. Soon after making his joke, Chibi Reviews quote tweets were flooded by outraged Chainsaw Man fans who after took the joke as a literal statement and made accusing him of outright supporting Makima's predatorial nature towards Denji. This consisted of overzealous fans like Maniko 101 at Maniko 101 who labeled the YouTuber a groomer over the joke. Really? Okay. Now, these issues are tricky in that if Denji, well, okay. I've often stated that this needs to be talked about more, but I know most people are not going to want to talk about it because it is a pretty sensitive issue. And just because somebody feels that there does need to be more conversation about it doesn't mean that they support the behavior. Okay? First off, you do have different cultures that do have different ideas of what is child and what even in our own country here, even in America, you know, difference between the legal definition and the moral definition are oftentimes different. Not that I'm going to start getting into this conversation here and now because
I'm not the one who should be leading this conversation. It should be somebody who is a mental health professional. However, there are countries like Japan that do like just because the United States believes that 18 is the cutoff between adult and a minor or child, however you want to say it, doesn't mean that there are other parts of the world that are going to necessarily agree with you. Okay.
So again, not that I'm gonna get into this here now but people's perception of age and when you're old enough to comprehend particular decisions, you know, is I think a bit skewed by confusing sometimes a legal definition over with a moral definition. And that's all I really want to say about it at this point. At you and Jungi's foot, who proclaimed that Chibi Reviews, quote, loves the Predator shipping content, unquote, and should, quote unquote, go to jail for this. He didn't do anything. He just made a joke. You do have freedom of speech in this country, people. Ah, these white knights are ridiculous. They need to be locked in a rubber room somewhere. And at Fushi Kiro, um, who fanatically demanded that the YouTuber, quote, kindly enter yourself to the feds. Yeah, even the feds wouldn't go for this because he made a joke. He didn't like actively promote this. He just made a joke. And even so, the supposed incident of grooming happened. If we're gonna get all into that, okay, the supposed grooming happened over in Japan. Japan has different cultural standards. They have different legal standards than here in the states. Be, because Japan has a legal age of consent of 15, are you going to start calling Japanese people predators and the P words? Because because their maybe their legal definition or legal reasoning is different than yours. So, their standards are different than yours. You know, a certain extreme sect of fans even took to sending death threats to the YouTuber. Quote, or at Xprath Temps, who expressed a desire to outright, quote unquote, kill Chibi Reviews. Yeah. So his Twitter name is Soggy Name. Quote, at Love Marshy rev things up even further by sharing a meme implying a threat to endanger the YouTuber's life with quote unquote pipe bombs. Yeah, that's real classy, people. Unsurprisingly, once they began to realize that TV Review's tweet was a joke, the cyberbullying did not stop. I think the editor forgot to put the writer of this article forgot to put an A in there. It should tweet was a joke. The cyberbullying did not stop. instead escalating and even being explicitly condoned. Keyword isn't funny, so deserved, justified at edgy idols. Similarly, at Luker CSA, um, argued, quote, I don't condone death threats, but maybe if you didn't ship a 16-year-old kid with her groomer. All right. Again, in Japan, 16 is above the legal age of consent. So again, people are blurring the line um, between legal reasoning and moral reasoning here. In a video on the situation, Chibi Reviews ultimately described the entire disingenuous backlash as one of the worst experiences he has ever had with the anime community in his 11-year YouTubing career. Yeah, I mean this is highly uncalled for. Highly uncalled for. First off, it's an anime. It's fictional characters. They're not really getting hurt. First off. Second off, even if it was real, okay, it's happening in a totally different culture, totally different place where maybe their standards are not the same as ours. A lot of these people like to talk about respecting other cultures and respecting other lifestyles. Well, not that I'm condoning anything criminal, mind you. Okay, but quote, I've been part of many communities since I've become a YouTuber. Years ago, unquote, said Chibi. However, I've never experienced what I did today in my entire life. I truly haven't been in a good emotional state or place at the moment recently, unquote, which is understandable when people are like haranguing you like that over something this ridiculous. That can be very upsetting. Quote, so normally I'd let all this slide, but it really hurts to read when I take a pleasure in reading everyone's comments, unquote. He added, quote, didn't think I'd experience this with Chainsaw Man. Unquote. All right, so anyways, let's see. We will get ready to move over to CBR here. Anyways, huh, yeah, I just need to. I do have to step away from the computer for a quick moment. I'll be right back. Just gotta take care of something real quick. Just talk to my sister for a moment about some of the stuff that happened earlier. But while I'm gone, I'll put some music on here. All right. Well, anyways, all right. So, anyways, I'm back, and now we're gonna go ahead and take a look at some other, see what other news stories we can find in all the realms of news. I'm not overly. One day, I'm thinking why Ichiro Kochi is the perfect person to write the. Hmm, okay. That sounds like it's interesting. Why don't we go ahead and take a look at that then? Take a look at that. Continue with some anime articles, and we'll go over to comics and eventually over to maybe we'll even check out some television articles as well. So, okay, so why Ichiro Okochi is the perfect person to write The Witch from Mercury. Ichiro Okochi is a writer who has been in the anime industry for over 2 decades, and past work makes him well suited to write the new Gundam show. Article by Austin Jones, published 15 hours ago. With the start of a new series in a popular franchise, fans want to know that the show they're watching is in good hands. Since the start of the new Gundam series, The Witch from Mercury, fans wait for a new episode each week with bated breath to see if the show will be a massive success or a critical failure. Thankfully, the lead writer on The Witch from Mercury, Ichiro Okochi, is no stranger to the Gundam franchise and may even be the perfect person for the job. Hmm. Coming into the new series, fans had three big concerns regarding the writing. First is whether the writer would know Gundam. Knowledge of a franchise one is writing is usually critical when trying to deliver a strong product. The second concern was how well the writer could write politics. Gundam is political through and through, so the ability to present a compelling, cohesive political story is crucial. Third challenge, which may be the most important for the series, is whether the writer could successfully write a female lead. While the Gundam franchise has featured many female characters over the years, The Witch from Mercury is the very first Gundam series to have a female protagonist. Thankfully, Ichiro Kochi checks all the above boxes. Very interesting. Ichiro Okochi got his start in anime working on a few episodes of Turn a Gundam in 1999. However, his first Gundam writing credit is for the light novel Mobile Suit Gundam, the 08th team, um, 08th MS team, released earlier the same year. Prior to that, Okochi had written books for another mecha franchise called Martian Successor, with his work on these being some of his earliest in the industry. It's clear from his work in the 90s that Kochi is more than familiar with the mecha genre, and Gundam in particular. Between then and now, he has also worked on Razafan, Eureka 7, and Code Geass, with the latter being particularly important. Yeah, because some of the political intrigue there, they were done. Hey, Bianca Zombie, not much. You can like and share this in, see if we can get some more friendly people in here. That'd be appreciated. Also, I hope you enjoy the content, and if anything here grabs your attention, you want to comment on or ask about, feel free to do so, and do my best to answer the question as best I can. So, with that, how Code Geass prepared Okochi for Gundam. Beyond being a mecha anime, Code Geass shares a similarity to Gundam in its focus on politics, which is true. What's important about Code Geass is that it proves Okochi can handle writing a long show. Of all the projects Okochi had worked on up to that point, Code Geass was one he had the most involvement in by far. Of the 54 episodes of the show, Okochi is credited with writing 51 of them. Wow, 51 out of that's like 94. I think that's like 94% right there. Yeah, 94%. He wrote 94% of those shows. It wouldn't be unreasonable to say that Code Geass served as a proving ground for Kochi, and he certainly lived up to the challenge. While it's clear that Kochi has no shortage of experience as a writer, many fans are curious as to how well he will be able to write Gundam's first lead female character. In an industry occupied primarily by men, and with most of the stories being focused on male main characters, Okochi's writing credits are actually rather interesting. His earliest writing credit is for two novels for the series Revolutionary Girl Utena 1998. Now, that was a very female centric anime. That was a very female. You had a lot of, in many cases, the female characters often outshine the male characters in that one. Let's see. This is particularly important as many people have drawn parallels between the initial plot of The Witch from Mercury and the Revolutionary Girl Utena. 2008, Okochi did writing composition for the show Shigofumi. And in 2017, he was a screenwriter for 10 episodes of Princess Principal. His second most recent writing credit is for the 2021 movie Sing a Bit of Harmony. Okochi, now having been in the anime industry for over 2 decades, has demonstrated his skill as a writer on multiple occasions. The list of projects he has worked on makes him not only well suited to write for The Witch from Mercury, but maybe one of the most qualified writers in the entire industry to do so In many ways, The Witch from Mercury is a culmination of all of his writing experience up until this point, and it will be exciting to see where he takes the show as a result. Alrighty then, so there we go. Go with that one. Because Austin's a newer guy, because apparently he's only written 3 articles for this company thus far. All right, so let's continue on with the that sounds like a plot point. All right, here's a little profile piece from, so we'll go ahead and do this one. FMA Brotherhood, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, is better than its predecessor, but these original episodes were still great. Right? The Full Metal Alchemist 2003 anime series is often overshadowed by Brotherhood. Now, part of that, of course, because Brotherhood was 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 actually more in line with the manga. Um, the first Full Metal Alchemist anime took a few more liberties in the transition from manga to anime, but Brotherhood was more truer to the original source material. However, the series has its merits and shouldn't be overlooked. Article by editor Lynn Peralta, published 11 hours ago. All right, and on the left there, I know that I believe is Sloth. So, when we think about Hiromu Arakawa's Full Metal Alchemist, a majority of fans only remember Brotherhood and forget that there was another anime adaptation, 2003. Both series focus on the Elric's search for the Philosopher's Stone. They want to use the stone to restore their bodies to their original form after failing to perform a proper human transmutation, which is taboo in alchemy. Although the premise is the same, fans only acknowledge Brotherhood because that version stays true to the manga storyline. The Full Metal Alchemist 2003 series diverted from the original manga because Arakawa was still writing the manga at the time, which is true. It was still ongoing. So, which happens with a few, that's where you get like filler arcs like in Naruto, like in the first Naruto series, where you had a whole bunch of filler at the end. You have fillers in the Shippuden arc as well. So to kind of give, you know, to kind of give sometimes the filler arcs are used to give the manga writer time to do more of the work, more of the work. Anyways, let's see. And she requested that the series have an alternate ending, even though fans aren't fond of the ending. Fullmetal Alchemist 2003 has its own merits. Here are some of the most memorable and iconic moments. All right. All right. So, the ill-fortunate story of Scar and the Ishval people. In episode 40, the Scar, quote unquote, Edward, in quotes, Ed Elric, and Scar fight in an alley. Um, fight in an alley. Scar tells Ed about his past and how he got the X-shaped scar on his face. Before the war, Scar's brother performed alchemy to bring back his fiancée, who died of a fatal illness. Unfortunately, he also created lust and made a philosopher's stone. Scar reveals his plans to make another philosopher's stone by sacrificing the souls of the military soldiers. Okay? Scar presents himself as an anti-hero. In the eyes of the state alchemist, he is a criminal. But in the eyes of the Ishval people, he is a hero. He holds the pain of the past dearly within himself. He lost his brother and his people, who were massacred by state alchemists. Hence, it's understandable why he hates the military. The stories of Scar and the Ishval people show the dark side of militarism. The desire to restore the Elric family tree. Alrighty then. Episode 3, Mother, reveals, quote unquote, Mother, reveals why the Elric brothers are searching for the Philosopher's Stone. Brothers grew up in a loving single family household with their mother, Trisha. Raised a loving single. Their mother, Trisha, raised the boys after their father abandoned them. Yet, even though their father left, Ed and Alphonse Al Elric, in quotes, followed their father's footsteps by learning alchemy, and their mother strongly encouraged their endeavors. One day, Trisha dies suddenly, and the boys decide to perform a human transmutation to revive their mother. Unfortunately, the ritual goes wrong. Ed loses his left arm and right leg, while Al loses his entire body. Ed attaches Al's soul to a suit of armor. After the incident, Ed decides to become a state alchemist to gain access to the state library so that he can find clues as to how to restore their bodies. The episode emphasized the importance of family and is considered one of the most tragic and sad moments in the franchise. The boys have a strong attachment to their mother, and they didn't understand how to cope and process this loss. Thus, from a child's perspective, it makes sense why they were willing to perform a transmutation. They wanted their mother back. The brothers made a mistake and paid the price. And out of desperation, Ed was willing to do anything to get his brother back, and even sacrificed another body part. This moment showed the strength of Ed and Al's bond. The unethical and dark side of alchemy. Yeah, I see that little, yeah. I see what I recognize the scene that they're showing in that picture. I've seen Full Metal Alchemist. In that episode of Full Metal Alchemist. Episode 7, entitled, quote, Night of the Chimera's Cry, unquote, shows the dark side of performing alchemy. Ed has officially become a state alchemist, and as his first order of business, he investigates the origin of Shao Tucker's first talking chimera. Ed and Al enter Tucker's basement and discover that he created another talking chimera using his daughter and his dog. And this is considered one of the most heart-wrenching and one of the most dramatic episodes of the series. Out of anger, Ed beats Tucker and frees the chimera. This episode illustrates the unethical side of alchemy. Shao became obsessed and desperate for state funding to continue his research, and he sacrificed his family members to be successful. Yeah, as I recall, his earlier talking chimera was, I think, his wife. I think he somehow transmuted his wife and beast together. Tucker argues that he and the Elric brothers are alike in their selfish desires. However, Ed and Al learned from their mistakes, unlike Tucker. Al questions his existence. In episode 20, quote-unquote Soul of the Guardian, the Elrics fought against guards whose souls were bound to suits of armor. Both the guards were active serial killers when they were in human form. Ed fights number 48, Slicer, and Al battles against number 66, Barry the Chopper. Ed defeats Slicer, but he does not destroy him because Slicer's existence reminded Ed of Al, who is in a similar state. As for the fight against Barry the Chopper, Barry manipulates Al into thinking that he never existed and is just a pawn. This episode gives insight into other individuals like Al whose souls are attached to bodies of armor. Yet these particular souls lost their humanity when they decided to become serial killers, and so it's interesting that their souls continue to disvalue human life. Furthermore, audiences get to see Al develop as a character as he begins to question his existence, purpose in Ed's life. Let's see now. All right, let's see now. Full Metal Alchemist finale. What is the gate of truth? The last episode of Full Metal Alchemist, episode 51, quote, Laws and Promises, Munich 1921, unquote, cement the bond between the Elric brothers. Al sacrificed himself and what's left of the Philosopher's Stone to revive Ed, who performed a ritual that successfully returned Al to his human body. They both get pulled into the gate of truth for their actions. Ed is transported to Munich, Germany. Al goes back to their homeland, Mestre. In the end, the brothers vowed to be reunited again. So basically, Ed gets transported into what would be like considered the real world or our world, back in 1921, and then Al goes back to their world. The conclusion of Full Metal Alchemist is open-ended. Audiences witnessed another touching moment of brotherly sacrifice. In addition, viewers were surprised to discover that the Gate of Truth serves as a portal to another dimension, a modern day world where science is the natural foundation of life. It was an unexpected twist to the story, which invited audiences to watch the movie. Full Metal Alchemist, the movie, Conqueror Shambhala, to see the fate of the Elric brothers. Even though Full Metal Alchemist anime series deviates from the original manga storyline, it's still worth watching. Like Brotherhood, the original anime series showcases core thematic messages that define the entire franchise, such as the ethics of alchemy and the importance of family. Which both series are good. Both series are actually pretty good, and they both have pretty good soundtracks to go with the series. I'd highly recommend watching both. So there we go with that. Let's see, where are we at now? Yeah, we're at 11. Okay. Let's see how much more we can get out of this. The profile piece right there. Let me. There are a lot of them here. But considering I think we've done it, so I'm going to go ahead and take a look at some of the more comic. A few of those left. All right. Well, anyways, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at some comic news now, since and I don't know if there's really much more than. Just gonna look here, see if there's. Okay, one day ago. Exclusive Vault Barbaric expands in 2023 with new series, one shot and more. Okay, well let's take a look at this one then. Looks like potential release. I want to go check something real quick here. Let me see. Let's check something here. Oh, okay. Anything currently playing right now? Hmm. Oh, so he just finished. Okay. Guess he just finished. Hmm. All right. So hey Rick, welcome to the stream. We're just in time as we're about to get into some comic news here. All right, so exclusive Vault's Barbaric expands in 2023 with new series, one shot, and more. Vault Comics announces 2023 as the year of the axe, quote unquote, an upcoming event that sees the publisher's Barbaric series expand with multiple new titles. Article by Brian Schwer, published 12 hours ago. Alt Comics is launching, quote, the Year of the Axe, unquote, in 2023. Year-long event that expands the world of Barbaric with brand new series, an oversized one-shot, and more. CBR can exclusively report that the Year of the Axe will see Barbaric, a series co-created by Michael Moretti and Nathan C. Gooden, that launched in 2021, expand in multiple ways beginning in January 2023. Barbaric enters into a new story arc with Barbaric Hell to Pay #1. Vault will release the first two trade paperback collections of Barbaric on the same day. The synopsis for Barbaric Hell to Pay #1 reads, quote, now carrying the curse of Axe, who's as bloodthirsty as ever, Soren works to find a way to get Owen out of hell and runs into one of the barbarian's old friends along the way. Meanwhile, Owen is trapped in the underworld, which may not turn out to be such a terrible place after all, unquote. Okay. I guess here are some of the pieces right here. Good. You're still there. Good. Let's see you're still there. And thank you for the like and share that help out with the. In May 2023, Vault will launch the first ever Barbaric spin-off series with Queen of Swords #1, a Barbaric series. Vault's description reads, quote, you asked for it, you got it. The Barbaric universe expands with this exclusive new series. Following the event of Hell to Pay, Ka, Deadheart, Deadheart wielding Yanelon, which is now infused with the wretched spirit of Nabar, and Shara form an uneasy alliance and journey to obtain the magical relic that'll help kill the evil or Gladius. But can Shara be trusted? And will Gabar ever stop talking sleep? Following in September 2023 is a new one-shot, The Wrong Kind of Rifle, which is co-written by Nicholas Eames. Quote, from the mind of fantasy critical writer Nicholas Eames with Michael Moretti, comes a one-shot that dives into Owen's and Axe's past, chronicling the time they ran into another sentient weapon, a mace named Flail, unquote. Walt said, quote, but Flail is not at all what you'd expect
naturally talking weapon, nor is the psychotic paladin who wields it. Unquote. Lastly, December 2023 will launch another new story arc in Barbaric Born in Blood #1. The synopsis reads, quote, after the game-changing fallout of Hell to Pay, Owen and Soren go on a quest to find the monster that can supposedly explain Owen's curse, but he'll have to travel through barbarian lands to get there. Unquote. So I guess if you're a fan of Vault Comics Barbaric, it sounds like they got quite a bit of a package for you to get into there. Let's see. You guys are saying nothing more is being said as of yet. Barbaric's creators on the Year of the Axe. The next volumes of Barbaric are really going to concretize Nate's and my greatest ambitions for this story, unquote, Moretti said about the year-long event. Quote, we want it to be big and expansive and remain as wild and ferocious as it's been since the very start. I mean, in Hell to Pay, we're literally going to follow Owen to hell, which is going to be as bat bleep crazy as you think. Meanwhile, we've got Soren cursed with Axe, who's as bloodthirsty as ever, and Steel dealing with vampire addiction. Then, in Queen of Swords, we're going to blow up what people know about the barbaric world, and people think they know about it. It's not just some side story. This story has serious ties to the barbaric core. Also, it features a trio of sexy ladies, and no one draws that better than Corin Howell. Basically, strap in and get ready for Barbaric to take a huge step forward in 23. Bigger heroes, bigger threats, and bigger veins for Axe to draw sweet, sweet blood from. Gooden added, quote, Mike and I are continuing to grow the world and the team. The first two books of Barbaric have set up the chessboard, and now is when we actually start to play the game out. So, as I said, it looks like for those, if you have ever read Vault Comics Barbaric, sounds like they've got quite a bit more the story to tell and a bit more for you guys to read out there. Let's see. Joining me on art is Corin Howell. Her covers have become a fan favorite, so it is only natural to have the interiors to match. Joining Mike on writing is Nicholas Eames for an epic one-shot. His book Kings of the Wild is one that inspired us to create Barbaric in the first place. It's an honor to have each of them play in the universe. All right, so we got through that article. Let's see now. Let's see what else we can find here to read about. Let's see. That sounds like a plot point. Plot point. Plot point.
All right. So yeah. So all right. So now we're gonna go over real quick and see if we can find anything on the animated side of things, cartoon side of things, to see if there's anything going on from that end, in the TV news realm. Ah, here's something interesting. All right. Mike Judge is a pretty well known anime, of course, gave us Beavis and Butthead, as well as Daria. Netflix cancels Mike Judge's animated comedy Bad Crime midway through production. Upcoming adult animated comedy Bad Crimes, produced by Mike Judge, has been canceled by Netflix in the middle of production. Article by Ravia Bhattacharya, try saying that 3 times fast, published 23 hours ago. All right, so let's see what they have to say about this now. Mike Judge's adult animated comedy Bad Crimes has been canceled by Netflix. Starring Nicole Byer and Lauren Lapkus in lead roles. The upcoming Netflix comedy was being produced by Greg Daniels of The Office and Mike Judge, Beavis and Butthead. According to Variety, the streaming giant has decided to cancel the show midway through production after the departure of Mike Moon. Moon, the head of the adult animation at Netflix, stepped down from his role in July, was replaced by Billy Wee. Wee was previously the senior vice president of comedy and animation at HBO Max. Hmm. Yeah, that kind of sucks that you get you're working on your show and you're already in production and they decide to just can it. Huh. Netflix placed a series order for the animated show in January. Bad Crimes was created by Nicole Silverberg, who was a writer on Full Frontal with Samantha Bee. Um, she also served as executive producer on the show with Daniels, Judge, and Dustin Davis. The adult comedy is currently on the lookout to partner with another platform. So I guess if they have stuff that they've already produced, they want to get it shown somewhere. Not Netflix. They're going to put it like Hulu or Amazon or whatever to do it. Uh, anyways, the dark comedy procedural follows two FBI agents, Sarah and Jenny, voiced by Byer and Lapkus, respectively. They travel around the country solving crimes. The series will also deal with their interpersonal relationships, their ambitions, and more. Bad Crimes acts midway through the episode. Bad Crimes follows a series of other animated projects that have been unexpectedly canceled by Netflix in 2022. Bone, an adaptation of the children's comic book series, was canceled in April, while Ava DuVernay's Wings of Fire and the preschool show um, Anti-Racist Baby were both axed in May. Okay, a name like Anti-Racist Baby, yeah, that's gonna garner a lot of viewership, isn't it? That just screams of preaching. That just screams of preaching. Wouldn't be surprised if there were some people out there who confused it with being read as antichrist, something like that. But, you know, all right. So, anyways, Netflix has remained in the headlines over the last few months over losing subscribers and a major stock price crash. In fact, the streamer lost nearly 1 million UK subscribers owing to rising living costs. Additionally, the platform is struggling to attract new customers and was forced to cut staff in a bid to revive sales amidst a decline in subscribers. Um, However, sources confirm that the cancellation of the anime shows were based on creative decisions and not due to Netflix's decline in subscribers or sales. In a shareholders letter that revealed details about its quarter three earnings call, Netflix disclosed that it will take a new approach to monetize account sharing among users. Starting in 2023, the new feature will allow individuals to borrow passwords to transfer their profile information into their own accounts. Commenting on this new development, Netflix said, quote, after listening to consumer feedback, we are going to offer the ability for borrowers to transfer their Netflix profile into their own account and for shares to manage their devices more easily and create sub accounts, quote unquote, extra member, if they want to pay for family or friends. Alrighty then. So let me see now. So we're all the way up to um, hour and a half. We're just past the hour and a half mark here. So let me see. See if there's anything else here that might grab my attention a bit here. Any other animated stories? If not, oh, this sounds like an interesting story to go through. This one. HBO Max's Green Lantern Core series will now focus on Jon Stewart's story. Greg Berlanti is developing the Green Lantern series for HBO Max with the upcoming DC project now revolving around fan favorite Jon Stewart. Article by Lee Freitag, published 13 hours ago. Now, of course, this picture is from Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, where, of course, Phil Lamar did the voice of John Stewart, Green Lantern's John Stewart. HBO Max's Green Lantern series will no longer center on Guy Gardner and Alan Scott. Instead, the upcoming science fiction project will be redeveloped to focus on fan favorite Green Lantern John Stewart. That is a live action show, huh? According to the Hollywood Reporter, Green Lantern is undergoing a massive creative overhaul. Writer and showrunner Seth Grahame-Smith has departed the series after completing scripts for a full season of 8 episodes. Ben Whitrock and Jeremy Irvine, who would have portrayed Guy Gardner and Alan Scott respectively, are also no longer attached to the series. Executive producer Greg Berlanti and his Warner Brothers TV-based Berlanti Productions are all that remains from the previous incarnation. The creative overhaul has reportedly nothing to do with the recent news that James Gunn and Peter Safran, Safran, um, will co-lead DC Studios as the duo does not start their new job until November 1st, which of course is this Tuesday. The live-action Green Lantern series has been in development since October 2019. So, wow, 3 years. 3 years of development. Hey. When the project was first announced, the series was described as decades-spanning story that would focus on a multitude of other lanterns, from comic book favorites to never-before-seen heroes. Yeah, that's how the comic was too, right? The Green Lantern Corps comic. They would, instead of focusing on the main ones that most people know, like Green Lantern or like Hal Jordan, Alan Scott, Guy Gardner, even Kyle Rayner, and even John Stewart was kind of considered a main one for a while. Let's see. Green Lantern was later confirmed to focus on Alan Scott, the first Green Lantern, and Guy Gardner, Ultra Macho Green Lantern. Whitrock and Irvine were cast in their respective roles in 2021. The original incarnation of the DC series would have also included newer Green Lantern, Mr. Cruz, and Simon Mad. Green Lantern will focus on John Stewart. Mind you, when I started reading this article, because I thought this is going to be this is going to be an animated version, but I was wrong there. Let's see. Following Walter Hamada's recent departure from DC Films, the decision was made to refocus Green Lantern on Tom Stewart, who first appeared in 1971 Green Lantern number 87, was the second African American superhero to appear in DC Comics. I guess following Black Lightning, I guess. Although John Stewart was a popular addition to the comics, the character didn't achieve fan favorite status until his inclusion in the DC Animated Universe series Justice League, where he was voiced by Phil Lamar, as I mentioned earlier. The character more recently appeared in DC Universe animated film Green Lantern Beware My Power, voiced by Black Adam star Aldous Hodge. Fans may be disappointed to hear that the Green Lantern series has started from scratch, but so it took them 3 years to get to this point. I wonder how, if they're starting from scratch, I wonder how much longer people are going to be waiting on it, huh? That's kind of a poopy situation. But the upcoming series was met with a far better fate than other DC projects on HBO Max. The streaming service's parent company, Warner Brothers Discovery, has been on a content purge in an effort to find $3 billion in savings. Warner Brothers Discovery recently trimmed HBO Max's upcoming DC offerings, starting with the Batgirl film, which, of course, as we all know, was considered highly controversial. The DC anthology series Strange Adventures, which would have focused on cautionary tales about superheroes and supervillains, was also canceled, while the upcoming fourth seasons of Titans and Doom Patrol have been rumored to be their respective last. However, although Green Lantern has survived the chopping block, its budget has not. The upcoming series' original budget is estimated at $120 million range, $120 million range, quote unquote, but will now be, quote, significantly less, unquote, going forward. Green Lantern does not have a premiere date on HBO. Of course they don't, because they're basically scrapping what they have and starting over. It's going to probably be a while before it really comes back any. So, anyways, I think that's all we're going to do on the articles tonight. It's already hour 40. I have been looking to get it under 2 hours, and we still have, of course, wrestling roundup and the this day in each history to do. So, with that. Okay, so anyways, So we're gonna start by going into the wrestling roundup now. So on the WWE side of things, let's see. Well, one of the things that happened on NXT last night was the debut of Rock's daughter Simone Johnson under the name of Ava Reigns. She made her debut, had a quick promo, and so now we got a fourth generation. One of the few fourth generation superstars working in the wrestling business. Um, Let me see now. Triple H back from his COVID-19 illness. He returned on Monday Night's Raw. Um, and there's some issues coming up between WWE and New Japan Pro Wrestling, as New Japan is threatening to sanction Carl. So, as some of you probably know by now, the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows, signed about a month ago. Recently signed with the WWE and rejoined AJ Styles as the OC in their feud with the Judgment Day faction led by Finn Balor. Now, currently, they also are under contract with New Japan as well. And of course, Anderson is currently the never open weight champion in New Japan. Now, Anderson was scheduled to defend that belt at New Japan show next Saturday, the November the 5th. However, the WWE has decided to schedule him along with Gallows and AJ Styles in a match against the Judgment Day, which is creating problems because even though New Japan has tried to reach out to him to get something worked out, they have now threatened that if he does not show up, he will need to vacate the title and return the belt to them immediately if he does not show for the event. So this does not look like a good situation. But I guess we'll wait and see. So it's like he's basically scheduled to be doing two shows on virtually the same day. Half a world apart from each other. He's slated to be at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia, and then also be at the New Japan show on the same day on November the 5th. So I guess that story will look more. And some people are saying that maybe the reason WWE is not letting him do the New Japan show is maybe they're trying to stick it to New Japan for doing the co-promotional show they did earlier this year, back in, I believe it was May, Forbidden Door. So, but this is going to get pretty interesting pretty quick. Now, getting to AEW, there's, of course, some news coming out of there. Of course, you may not have seen Miro in a while on AEW, and there's been a reason he hasn't been used as much. Partly it's because of the fact he had requested time off to do some other projects, some non-wrestling projects, and he was given that time off, according to an interview that his wife, CJ Carey, who everybody knows is Lana, mentioned on a recent interview. Also, Miro, had some issues with how skating and booking too. So, also, and on tonight's Dynamite, they got a pretty packed card going into it. The main event is see Jon Moxley defending the AEW World Title against
El Zero Miedo of the Lucha Brothers. Um, as Moxley was saying, he wants more competition. Wants to tell these people he hasn't defeated yet.
And in an interview on Rampage Friday, Penta stepped up with, of course, his manager Alex Abrahantes. I guess we'll wait and see what happens with that. Also happening on tonight, in the continual war between the Blackpool Combat Club and the Jericho Appreciation Society, you've got two matches of significance here. You got a tag team match between the Ring of Honor world champion Chris Jericho and Ring of Honor pure champion Daniel Garcia on one side, taking on Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta of Blackpool Combat Club on the other. And the other match featuring Blackpool versus the JAS got Bryan Danielson taking on Sammy Guevara. And a follow-up to what happened last week I don't know, it was last week or a few weeks ago on Dynamite. Riho will be taking on Jamie Hayter as Jamie Hayter looks to get some revenge for Rio's attack on her, as Jamie Hayter with Britt Baker and Rebel were trying to jump Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida after their matchup for the AEW. And the show was starting off with a number one contenders match for the AEW World Tag Team Champions, that's current number one contenders, as well as triple tag team champions FTR, who currently hold the AAA Tag Team Championship, Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship, and the IWGP Tag Team Championships, taking on the most recent former champions, Swerve and Our Glory. As both teams look to begin their second reign as AEW World Champions, and FTR is currently the number one contender, so they look to stave off the challenge of Swerve and Our Glory in that. And MJF is involved in an interview with Renee Paquette tonight as well. So that's all I got for you on the wrestling side of things. So why don't we start to wrap things up here as we now take a look back at this day in Niche history. History today being 2011, 2012, and then 2007. All right. So with all that being said, today being Wednesday, October 26th, 2022. Let's take a look back this day in Niche history. History! So first off, we head back to 1997. On this date in 1997, WCW held its Halloween Havoc event on this date back in 1997 from the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Main event saw Roddy Piper defeat Hollywood Hogan in a steel cage match. This is a non-title match, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, I think Hogan was the champion at point. In the penultimate match of the night, Randy Savage defeated Diamond Dallas Page in a sudden death match. Lex Luger defeated Scott Hall with Larry Zbyszko as a special guest referee. Kurt Hennig retained the WCW United States champion via DQ over Ric Flair. Jacqueline defeated Disco Inferno. Let's see. In a title versus mask match, Rey Mysterio Jr. defeated Eddie Guerrero for the WCW World Cruiserweight Champion. And the show, of course, started off with Yuji Nagata defeating Ultimo Dragon. So on this date, 25 years ago today, WCW held its Halloween Havoc event from the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, moving on to the next piece of niche history here. On this day in 2007, 15 years ago today, the Studio Fantasia's OVA Akira R16 version mission completed its run on Japanese TV. So on this date, 15 years ago today, the Studio Fantasia's OVA Akira R16 version mission completed its run. So with that, moving on to the next piece of niche history here. As on this date in 2011, here, Images ScreamYard number 5 went on sale on this date. The fifth and final edition of Screamland from Image Comics went on sale on this date back in 2011, 11 years ago today. Sold for $2.99 for 32 pages. So on this date, 11 years ago today, the fifth and final issue of Screamland from Image Comics went on sale on this date back in 2011. And finally, we hit one last piece of niche history here. Okay, so 10 years ago today, on this date, 10 years ago today, the Disney Junior series Jungle Junction would complete its run. The Disney series Jungle Junction would complete its run on Disney Junior on this date 10 years ago today, back in 2012. On this date, back in 2012, Disney Junior show Jungle Junction would complete its run on Disney Junior. So with that, guys, I thank you all for being here. A couple programming notes here. Of course, Friday, don't forget Friday, I'll have RJ Carter in with me to RJ Carter co-hosting with me as we look back to June of 1939. We'll be covering the comics that went on sale from David McKay Publications and Eastern Color. And this Monday, which is Halloween, the Mikestand is going to be doing another one of our holiday open panel nights, which I'll bring people in and we'll just hang out and talk, maybe reminisce about some of our favorite Halloween specials growing up, maybe some of our more spooky based cartoons, Scooby-Doo, those meddling kids, Casper the Friendly Ghost, and the like. So anyways, I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow and Friday and Monday and every day. Until then, bye.